Second grade. So today we are going to do day 5, draft. I can write a personal narrative. So today is the day you are going to draft your cycle 3 personal narrative. To help do this, you're going to look back at your story sketch, and you can even look at your parts of speech to help you build your story. The first thing you're going to do is you're actually going to talk your story out loud. So before you even write it, you should look at your picture and talk your story out loud. So here's my story. I was walking along on a wooden path with Will, and I could see a dirt trail ahead of me, and there were small trees all around me. And suddenly I heard a thump of something hitting the ground. And then I saw that there was a new pine cone on the floor. That's when I heard birds that were loud and angry squawking and flying away. I looked up at a gnarly old tree and saw a long branch sticking out. I saw a creature that was staring at me. And as I looked deeper, I could see that it was a brown bear cub. And then I noticed that it was kind of clawing at or like eating at something. And I looked again, and I turned to Will. Before I looked again, I actually turned to Will and said, "Is that a bear?" I couldn't believe what I was seeing. And then I could see another bear inside the tree. And it looked like they were clawing at or eating something that was on the branch. And then Will and I kind of both stared at each other, and I could tell we were both thinking the same thing. We were wondering, where's the mom bear? That's when Will said, "We should go." And then we turned around and calmly walked away from the trail and headed back to our campsite. So that was my talking my story out loud. I noticed that I used some of the parts of speech that we collected yesterday. And I also used that to write my personal narrative. So I wrote it ahead of time because I knew it was going to take me a while. But before I did that, I set goals for myself too. I made sure that I had a sharp pencil to write with and a couple spare just in case. I also made sure that I wrote the whole time and really just stuck with it until I finished my story. I also didn't want to get stuck on spelling because I don't know the spelling of all words. So I just circled the words that I knew weren't spelled correctly. So here's my personal narrative. Rough draft. Will and I were walking on a wooden trail at Grover Hot Springs. I smelled the fresh cut wood and thought it must be a new trail. I could see lots of trees around me. It was quiet, and all I could hear was our footsteps. Suddenly, I heard a loud thump. What was that? I wondered to myself. I looked at the forest floor and saw a pine cone that had fallen. I heard birds saying squawk, squawk as they flew away. In front of Will and I was a gnarly old tree. It had a long branch shooting out, and I could see a creature climbing on it. I looked closely and couldn't believe my eyes. There was a brown bear staring at me. I felt my heart beating in my chest. I turned to Will and said, "Is that a bear?" I pointed to the creature in the tree. As we stared, I could see another brown bear cub. It looked like they were clawing and eating something in the tree. I was fascinated by seeing such a special animal. I felt like I was in a nature documentary. Will and I looked at each other again, and I could tell we were thinking the same thing. Where's the mom bear? That's when Will said, "We should leave." We calmly turned around and headed back to our campsite. Okay, so second grade, you're going to get started on your personal narrative draft. So make sure you stick with it, try your best, talk out your story first, and go ahead and get started.